Hey guys, it's Seb from Zulu 8 and today I'm going to show you how to make one of these cool letter animations from one of those Nike ads. So I got this inspiration from one of the Nike ads on Behance. It's called Nike ID. It's by Man vs. Machine. They are the machine. They do the best Cinema 4D videos I've ever seen. Geordie Pages, check him out, or Pages, I don't know. So this is the video. It's really cool. Definitely check it out. If we hit play, just turn it down. This is what we've got. It's really nice, super clean. It's so simple. 51% audio, 49% visual. And it just works, and it's so fun. And I've always watched these things and like, how do they do it? They make it so simple yet so complex. And so we're going to try do one of these today, and we're going to try achieve something like this, exactly like this. So let's try get as close as possible to something like this. So the first thing I tried was, let's just create the walls. Let's make these 1920 by 1080, so we get that aspect ratio. Oop, don't know the other way around. And let's make this only like 2 centimeters. Let's duplicate this, and we can make this the front wall, the back wall, and let's just collapse the front, and maybe let's just move the back one further back. Okay, let's just get a camera. Let's just check our settings. Let's make this 25. You also need to change it into the project settings. 25 frames. Let's move this up to 1920. Whoop. And let's just position our camera. Just put shading lines on, and let's figure out our coordinates. Actually, I will change the camera perspective, the focal length. I'll put this up to 80, so we get a flatter look. Coordinates, this is be 0. Let's put y at 0, 0, and looks like we have that at 90. And now we can just zoom in until we fit the frame. Awesome. Okay, let's start by making this first letter, this first wall. So let's get your MoText up. Let's try Z. Let's make it bold, and we're gonna have to rotate it 90. Let's go middle, and let's put this up to like 600. Nice and big. And let's, just to make sure that it's centered, might increase the depth. Let's go the coordinates, the y coordinates. So to make it in the middle, be half again, 150 minus 150. Boom. So this is our setup. Let's just put a protection tag on our camera so we don't move it. And so first thing you need to do is create a bool. So let's get a bool. We need to bool the MoText with the front wall. Let's drop that in there, drop the MoText underneath, and let's just hide the text. And let's hide this back wall so we can see what's happening. It didn't break through. The thickness. Let's just increase this thickness. and drop it back in, and clean cut. So if we go back to the example, we've got this cut, but they've got this internal cut as well. Let's make that now. So let's just duplicate this bool and go current state to object. Delete the original bool, and just so that it's all cleaner, let's drop that into a connect object and collapse that. So now we get inner front wall. And what we need to do is just extrude those inner edges. And I can already see, let's just delete this fong. If we extrude it in, it's going to extrude up here and here, and we'll have this gap here. So what we can do is just grab these two edges. I'll just show you what I mean. So if we loop select these, the faces, the inner faces, and we extrude these out, we get this separation. So to prevent that, we can grab those edges and we can bevel them. Bevel, let's make this, let's go up centimeter, maybe 2, and then put the subdivisions to 2. That'll be fine. And let's grab those faces again and extrude them. Okay, so up to you how far you want to go in, but something nice. And once we're happy, let's just move this, let's just move this wall closer, because I think in the original it's very close. We might leave a small gap. Cool. Just for now, let's just color these. So we've got blue and inner red. Blue on the outside. Let's duplicate this. Create a red. And throw that on the red. Boom. So, what have we got to do next? What we can do is try and create these pumps, these balls running through these pipes. Now I tried to do this with dynamics. I tried to do this one with dynamics. Just wasn't working. It was too fiddly. It was interrupting with other stuff, and found out a better way of how to do it. My original version was with Signal. I don't think I have Signal on this computer, but a very worth tool, very worth getting. It's from GSG, Grayscale Gorilla. They're men. They got me excited about C4D. Definitely check them out. And they have all these tools that you can get, and they're well worth it. Signal is this awesome animation tool where, you know, what you can do with it is absolutely boundless. But we can get away with doing another thing. So let's just draw out this circle. I think I might put them in the middle. So let's go top view. Let's just get our snapping turned on. Snap to work plane. And snap to point. So let's just something like this. Yeah, it would be. Boom. And we can now grab these points, right click and just soften them out. Actually, let's grab these as well. Do the same thing. Looks good to me. There's our spline. Let's just put our axis in the center. And let's drag this where we kind of want this air pipe to be blowing our balls. So I'm going to have it in the middle. I think it would look pretty cool. Can look at the top-down view just to line it up. And let's jump back. Okay, so let's create a pipe. Let's grab a circle, and what we need to do is just sweep this circle along this spline. So let's grab a sweep, let's put the circle in, let's just decrease the size of this, something like that, and let's throw in our spline, and voila. So I think this is yellow. Let's create a yellow texture. And let's decrease the size of this circle. Cool, looks pretty good to me. Let's drag it up. Let's turn off snapping. And there's 2 in that GIF. Let's do 2. And maybe we'll just move them over a little. Cool. Well, let's just hide one for now. So now we need to do this ball traveling through this pipe. We can actually turn this on and chuck on the X-ray. Actually, turn that one off, turn this one on, and put this one on X-ray. Okay, so let's get our sphere, a little ball that's going to be traveling through the pipes. Let's make it, yeah, that'll do. I prefer to make them ISOs, just it's evenly more flush. And now what we can do is just align this to this spline. So let's just duplicate that spline, drag our sphere down, and go align to spline. Let's drag that spline into here, and that's the opposite one. That'll do. Okay, so now all we really need to do is animate it across the spline. Let's go to 1, let's make this timeline 100 frames. Let's keyframe the position at 0%. Let's go up 1 second, go to 100, and let's just see that. Cool. I might stretch that over 2 seconds. Sweet. Now, what we can do to get this more like as if it's going through an air tunnel, we can get this vibration to happen. So as if it's hitting the walls within it. So what we can do is, instead of aligning directly the sphere to the spline, we can put this into a null, holding Alt G, and we can just name this sphere, and just move this tag onto the null. So now we can independently move the ball at any position, but it will still inherit that null. So now what we can do is animate a vibrating sort of feeling. Let's just collapse the sphere. So something like, let's just say it's going to be moving very quickly, so you want it to be pretty abrupt. Let's just animate all three. Let's move 2 frames forward. Let's just do something random. Keyframe that. Let's go another 2. Keyframe that. Let's go another 2. Keyframe that. And so that's just kind of bumping around. Can even make it quicker by dragging these together. So it's 5 frames in length. So it's kind of vibrating. And now if we open this in the F-curves, we can turn this into a looping animation. So it will be continuous. So simply open up your timeline, click on your sphere, and you'll have options that come up here. And before, we want that off. And after, I'm not going to go through these, test them out. They're pretty self-explanatory. Constant is the last animation it inherits. It just continues from that last animation if it's going in a direction. Continue is, I'm not totally sure. Continue. Anyway, we won't get into that. But the one you want is oscillate. And you can put how many times you want it to oscillate. So let's go all the way up to 100 frames, 20 repetitions. And if we hit play, this little ball will be vibrating through the timeline as a constant loop. So it kind of looks like it's doing, hitting the walls inside, and that's what we want. So let's just duplicate, well actually let's go back to our line, to spline. Let's move 1 frame forward. There's probably a better way of doing this, looping this one, but this is just the way I did it. So I would keyframe this back to 0%, 1 keyframe after, then I just go 100 back to 100%. So we get the ball going around and it's vibrating in the walls inside. But we get this issue that it seems to just like zip up and zip down as it gets to the straights. And this is because our spline has all of its vertices on either side, not in between here. So what we can do is change the intermediate points of our spline. Can go from adaptive to uniform. And so instead of moving nice and smooth on the outside, it's nice and smooth throughout. Let's just turn off that. Great. Okay, that's the first animation. We can turn off X-ray on that one. Whoop. Cool. So what's next? So we've done this. There's a couple more up there. You can duplicate it, drag it up, simple as that. But let's try something like this. Now I know you can do this using deformers. It's fun, but I preferred to do something different. I wanted to do a spring to shoot a ball into the air and then it goes down and shoots back up. So this is when we're going to get into some dynamics. So let's just pause this. Let's start creating that. Let's create the little platform. with a cube. Where can we put this? We'll just put it at the end of this C. Decrease the size of it. Something like that. Okay, so let's create the spring. So go into your pen place and click on helix. Let's grab the helix. Let's decrease the size of it. And let's rotate it up. Actually, I think you might be able to, yeah. Just Control Z that and do XZ. So if we increase the height, it goes up. So that's kind of what we want to happen. You know, winds up. Boing. Okay, let's increase the height. Oh, sorry, the end angle. So we get more. Something like, I don't know, 1800. And then we once again need to sweep another circle. Let's get a circle. Make this tiny. Something like that. And let's grab another sweep. Drop the circle into the sweep. And we'll just name this spring. And the helix. And voila. I think that's a little too thick. Something like that will do. And let's just position this. Actually, I might position this back in the center. And just gonna group everything we've done and hide it for now. Okay. Spring. Let's just decrease the size of it so it fits on our platform. Drag it down so we get this ending circle in it. And what we can do now is just nail down our animation. So let's just turn on shading. So what we want to do is, like before, we just animate the height of the helix. So let's go into your helix object and let's just say at 0 we've got, actually let's go 5. 10. We'll go 10 ahead and we'll just adjust the height till it's fully squeezed like that. Keyframe that. That's just, I like round numbers. 20. Whoa. Not what we want. 20. And I want to have this winding effect. So let's say that springs out to something like 60. That will be like its resting state. And so if you hit play, it's coming down for the wind. Might move that up to 20. Actually, let's make it a second. So it's winding down. Then we want it to spring up like crazy. So let's go something like 30. Animate this height to beyond its resting point. So something like, could go 80. Keyframe that. Then let's just go 5 ahead. Bring this down below the resting point. So something like 50. Keyframe that. Go another 5. And above the resting but not the resting, 70. Go another 5. Then we'll go to closer to the resting, so 55. 5 more. 65. Getting close. 5 more. 60. Back to the resting state. So let's just see what we've got. Lines up. Doing. Perfect. Let's just check out our F-curve. Go to the helix. And that's not it. Here we go. So boing. I mean, I wouldn't even change much. It's pretty sweet. So I think we'll just loop it. So let's click on our helix, turn before off, go to oscillate, and oh, that actually might play it in reverse. It does, doesn't it? I think we'll try repeat. Yes, repeat's the one we want. So play around. There's some cooler effects you can get out of them. I only recently just learned this. I was like, how do you loop animations? Oh my god. So this is great. Constant looping. Okay, that goes to beyond 100. So maybe we can, because we want this as like a GIF, like what they've done here. So it needs to loop seamlessly. So let's try bring this animation to 50. So let's get a cylinder. Let's shape it to something like that. Whoops. Timeline to 0. And let's just get it so that it's there. And let's just say 72. So this is going to be our platform shooting our dynamic ball into the air. Let's just collapse that and just go mesh, command optimize, so that the two caps are fused with all the points. And what we need to do is have this platform animate with our spring. Now I found one way to do this, and it's I figured that the height was almost the same as the position height of the cylinder. So what I did was I just created a espresso tag, and I dragged the cylinder and I dragged the helix, and I said, let's get the object properties of the helix of its height, and that height will determine the Y value of our cylinder. So link these two, and instantly we see it pop because it was 10 above. But what we can do before we link these, little cheat, it's probably not the best way of doing this, but I simply drag this up to where I wanted it to be, like that, and then just move the axis to 60, I think it was. It's good enough. Turn it off and then relink them, and boom. So it's a little cheat, so that if we hit play now, it will always stay with it, and it's great. So we can leave that now. and go just platform spring. So now we need to add the dynamic ball to shoot into the air. So let's create a sphere, make it a decent size we want. It's pretty good. I like ISO, whatever, you know what I mean. Let's turn this up to 50 so it gets more round, and let's put it in a position just above. Okay, now let's add our simulation tags. So let's just collapse our sphere and go to simulation tag, make this a rigid body. We don't really need to change much, let's just leave it as it is, we'll dive in later. Let's go to our platform, go simulation tags, make this a collider body, and in this I think we don't really need to change anything, and if we hit play, boing, you get the ball flying into the air. Pretty cool. But obviously the ball over time will eventually fall. We don't want this, although we could loop it like that. We're getting this snapping. We might need to extend this animation actually. Let's go 150. Okay, see what I mean? So let's go back to our F curve quickly and just extend our helix repetition one more time. And so to stop it from falling, what we can do is now create a boundary box. So let's create a cube. Let's look at a top view. Let's bring this right down so that it almost encapsulates the whole circle. Something like that. And now we can just drag this up, make it long. I don't think it went higher than that. And can collapse this. And now we just need to make this a collider body. Turn it to collider body, but we can't just use an automatic shape. We need to make it a static mesh. This allows it to calculate the inside as well as the outside. So we can hide that now, and if we hit play, it will always stay in the middle, which is what we want. Now let's try and get this loop right. Now, what can we do? I don't know. We'll figure out the looping later. Let's just get back to our scene. Let's unhide everything. Let's group these together. This is our spring ball. And whoop. Oh, spring. Oh, platform. Platform. Drop it in. Okay. Now, as soon as I moved this here, we get this happening. And this is because the espresso is reading the height of the spring, which is saying that it's up here. So what we can do to fix this is, so it's pretty dodgy but it works, is you can go into this, move it back out, and we can duplicate this platform and we can delete the tag of this one, make this a parent of our original, and take the espresso out off of that one, but keep the tag on this one, hide this one, but have this one show, and now we can just move this one into position to where that one originally would have been. So if we move it to there, so the ball just above it, it will inherit that same action just from an offset position. So we should still get the exact same animation. And it's great. Now, what have we got? Let's just color these. Something like blue. Let's make the spring yellow. The ball, I don't know, red. And maybe I'll make the platform blue again. So let's make this yellow. Okay, so let's look at it so far. We've got the ball going through here, we've got this spring, and let's go back to the reference. And what else have they got here? They've got one going up here. They've got this random sphere thing happening. Let's see if we can do this. Yeah, and just have like a random sphere there, and then we can get into lighting. Okay. Let's bring back our back wall. And that's blue as well. Okay, so how do we do this? So we can add to this bool. We can, well actually we need to add this to the bool, the sweep, because otherwise if we hit play, this ball is just going through the wall. There's no real hole there. So what we can do is grab that sweep, just do a current state to object, grab it, and what we then do is first color it blue, because it's going to be cutting through our white wall, our front wall. Let's go to the front wall bool, and let's just see what happens if we drag this in. I don't think that worked. Maybe if we make it a parent? Yes. So if you make it a parent of the MoText, it creates our circle. But we also need to do it through our mid wall. So let's go to our inner wall. Let's put this inner wall. Let's put this into a bool. And let's grab that same sweep, duplicate it, but change it to red. And put it under there. Cool. So we get this hole where the ball is traveling, so you can see it making its journey. And we need to color the ball, which is this one here. And I think they made it yellow. Is it yellow? Yeah, it's yellow. Cool. So back to creating this clocky thing. I guess we can do one. It's kind of just going from here to here. Could be pretty cool. Let's do this just by creating Let's create a capsule. Make it a thin capsule. Let's make it bigger. And let's just see if we can just put some sort of deformer on it to curve it. Let's just try the bend deformer. Fit to parent, and what happens if we just do it? It's pretty cool. Alright, that'll do. Let's just go 180. And rotate it 90. Actually, what I could have done is rotated the bend deformer. Nope. Okay, let's go back to our capsule. Rotate this up 90. Drag it here. Ooh. Cool. Let's just increase the amount of segments on this. Height segments. Let's go something like 50. It's nice and smooth. Display lines. Smooth enough. And let's drag it out. And now we could probably just put it like that. And now let's just see if we can just current state object. Let's hide the original and see if we can just make this a parent of the, actually let's color it blue. The reason why I color them before I bool is when you bool, the faces that have been like made, like in the interfaces here that will get made, inherit the color that you're booling with. So we're booling with this wall, so blue. Let's see if we can just make that a parent of the MoText as well. Sweet. So if I hadn't colored it, this would have been that gray. And so we need to do, actually, do we need to do the same thing? Let's look at our reference. No. So they've just got another little bool within the red. So let's just do that one. So maybe we can unhide our original. See if we can just, let's take out the bend for now. Decrease the size of this one. Make it tiny. Put our bend deformer back on and see if we can just drag it to the mid wall. And now we can current state that to object. Hide the original and throw that under this bool for the inner wall. There we go. So now let's create this weird, like CZ. Take it easy. Take it CZ. Oh, cool. Let's start making this weird clock thing. So they've got this wheel that goes inside, which is pretty cool. And they've got this thing, and they're all timed very nicely. So let's try to recreate something like that. Looks like they had a cone. Whoa. And keep looking at this reference. So these are connected. Okay. I honestly don't know how they did it. Anyway, instead of doing that, I'm gonna create my own cool thing and just fill up this bar and back. So I'm gonna grab a sphere. This is probably very lazy, but let's do it. Okay, let's get a disk. Let's turn this into half a disk. Let's drag this across. Let's get a front view. Rotate it. Actually, we won't rotate it. We'll just increase the size so that it covers where we want it to. So I'm going to try fill up this little split that we've got with this yellow disc. So it just rotates up, fills up the bar, and at the top something, I want something to just pop out here. That would be pretty cool. So let's just see what that would look like. It's just not reaching. Increase the size. And we could probably change the shape a little. It's a very odd curve. So if we rotate that, now we want it when it hits there, so we don't want a full 180, something like that, so that now we're probably going to have to animate that. Let's do that now. So let's just put a yellow texture on this, drag this disk inside, and that actually might be cool showing behind. Yeah, why not? Okay, let's go front view again. Let's animate this rotation. Object coordinates, starting point will be here. And then let's bring this up to 50. Drag, boom. And at the same time, we're going to animate the disk's slice. So in the beginning, we want this to be here. Then when we get to 50, we want it to be back to where it was. See what that looks like. Curious. Hit play. Sure. And when that happens, we want it to come back down. So we could probably loop this. Let's go into our F curve, click on our disk, and let's just see if we can go to oscillate. I kind of wanted to get up there quicker and sit up there for longer. So let's drag these points out and drag these in. Let's just see what that looks like. Cool. And well, let's get that back up. Let's just repeat this until it fills up our timeline. And let's look at our animation. So when this hits here, I kind of want something to just pop out, you know. Actually, this is probably good enough for now. Look, I'm happy with this. Let's start lighting it in Octane. So let's pause it. Let's get our Octane viewer up. Send the information. We don't have any lights. And so let's just delete that. If we look at our reference, they've got, if you look at the reflections, you can see the lighting system that's happening. They've got a big light over here. They've got over two little overheads, another one here, and maybe it looks like another small one at the bottom. But it's predominantly this one on the bottom right, facing having the shadows go up left. So let's try and duplicate that. Let's get Octane up. Let's drag this into here. Let's create just an overall light. And this, we can bring the power one, that's fine. And I wonder why nothing's showing up in our scene. Okay, there we go. And our camera's moved. But how? Let's just fill up this frame. Protection tag. Okay, let's start creating that system. Let's just get a light, area light. I like doing this from above. Rotate it. So this one looked like it was over here and it was low. Let's just increase the size. You can see what's happening. Let's go a front view, bring it down, so something like that. And maybe we'll rotate it toward. And let's just bring out the power, bring down the power to about 10. And let's create another light. This will be our overhead. Drag it up, way above. Let's go to our top view. This is just a big light that does overall. And we can really decrease the amount of this one, make it like half. Let's go back to our camera. And let's make another one. And this one will have on the left side just your classic 3-point lighting system. Facing toward. Maybe increase the size of it. That's cool. And we'll bring this down to half as well. 5. So our main light is coming from the right. So let's create Octane materials. I think we can just convert these. Convert materials. Delete the old ones. And let's make these, yeah, they are glossy. It's done something weird. Let's just create new ones. Shader, Octane, Octane material. Let's use a diffuse blue for the background. duplicate that. Let's make a red. But this one can be glossy. And we'll put up the roughness something like 1.5 or whatever it was. Drag that inner wall and the ball, and let's duplicate that and make a yellow. Drag that on the pipe. Can drag that onto our spring. I can't remember what we had our platform. Let's duplicate this blue one. Create a glossy version. Drag that over. Let's make the platform yellow as well. And we're going to need a plastic see-through sort of material. Just create a new one. And go specular. Let's get the index. That's fine. Roughness, something like that, and then maybe the opacity will bring down just heaps, and just throw that onto this one. Let's see what happens. Guess that works. Now what's this white background we've got? Let's throw our texture onto the background and put our yellow in our disk, and we've got our boundary box showing. So let's get rid of that in the spring ball, and it is not that. It's definitely in here. The cube. Let's take it out of the render. Okay, if we go back to our camera, let's just undock this so we get a better look. So this is what we've got. If we hit play, we get our cool little animations. It's very simple. So this is how you do it, guys. This is how I did it. Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, like and subscribe for more. I'm Seb from Zulu8. Bye.